Hello, 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 and good evening. This is the Friday night edition of the Blitz Pickup. I am here back as Finsanity. I know last show I had a little crazy stint, but I got everything back together, and I'm here to really cheer on these Dolphins. And obviously, we have some news. Oh man, it's going to be a very interesting conversation today because one of the players that we're going to be talking about with a potential trade situation, I brought up way before they traded or signed for another center in the league. You also have Divine Achane. Sully is quote unquote cooking because he's getting us cap compliant. He's adding void years, something that another GM used to do, but it does change the landscape of what we're able to do now and how it's going to affect us, if we are to trade either player. Please make sure you vote in the poll. And finally, a former Dolphin legend. I mean, a lot of people like him. He was okay. He was like, no, 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 no. Jarvis Landry really definitely put on. He had a lot to say about the Miami Dolphins, the locker room, and it really tied into the last conversation on last episode about how Jalen Waddle was not a leader. So we're going to get into, should we be trading Achane or Brewer, or will the Dolphins do that? And then we are going to discuss Jarvis Landry and some of his comments about the Miami Dolphins, the organization, the locker room, and the players and the lack of leadership. Tony Lou, let's get into it.
Um, you gonna be a Dolphin, Alabama fan. I don't know what that say, whatever that is. You're an Alabama
Fin-
fan. There's no flip flopping over
I'm
here.
fit.
On
First of
to
all, it's not flip flopping.
2027. I'm cool with the on to 2027. But you're an Alabama fan. Like, you called my
Always. Roll
franchise
Tide.
trash. You you treated us like stepchild. No, you don't get to
Stepchild.
come back like that. You have to earn your way back.
Some men and women know how to treat stepchildren like their own. So I
You,
don't
you
know what that
still have to
means.
earn.
I don't. I don't. I know what
You,
that means.
you said some. You know why did you
Some.
have to say some? So that means you understand what that means.
I don't know what that.
All I'm saying is you gotta earn your way back here. You just can't come back over here and just
Earn.
say, yeah.
Earn.
Sound crazy, don't it? Look at your face. Sound crazy, don't it?
Earn.
Oh, okay.
That's what we
Hey,
talk
hey,
about.
hey, Lou,
Okay.
you want to know what's crazy? You saw her look when I said she had to earn her way back. Sound like a certain person that she was riding for. She was part of like a cult. Doesn't that sound like
Hey
told
man.
another person? You see how look how funny, look how she looked at me. But when he
A
said
quote.
she didn't have a problem with it. Did you see the look on her face? You know what? I'm not gonna do you like that this game. Welcome
A
back,
cult.
Insanity.
I was a part of an extremely highly intelligent organization. I
Okay,
don't know
well,
if it was a
call it
cult.
call it what you want. Whatever you prefer.
Hey, Lou. Lou, what is going on with your guy? Like, I realize, that maybe, I said some things that rub some people the wrong way, but they say the truth is what hurts, not not anything else. I mean, lies
I
hurt
was
too, but I
told
wasn't
the
lying.
truth will set you free.
I was set free. Were you not set free?
Yes,
I was
yes,
freeing a lot
and
of
I did.
people last
And we
episode.
see
I
my
freed a lot
part.
of
I was
people.
set free, but someone was hurt when they went on their rant. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you who we're
Hurt?
saying applies to. That's all I was breaking. I was just making it clear.
You think it came from a hurtful place?
I don't know. You know, it seems that way. I'm glad it from the outside looking in. It felt very passionate
Well,
and
I'm
maybe
glad to know
hurtful.
that you were on the outside looking in, not
Yeah, man.
inwardly looking out.
I'm just saying. You know.
So you don't know. Shout
I
out
just
to
told you
the
how I
chat. Make sure y'all vote in the poll. Lou, do you have any opening comments? Because I'm getting grilled by Tony. Jesus, I
hey
gotta
Luke.
earn.
Hey Luke, she got on the shades.
Yeah, yeah. The sunglasses don't lie, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm here for a good time. That's all I'm here for. I'm here for a good time. I'm here for a good time.
I, I
Um,
think I think Lou ready to turn up. That's what Lou on.
that's what you want. All right, well let's get to it. Oh man. So the Miami Dolphins have two more key assets that I guess some people are expecting or are asking if they're going to be traded. Tony, please talk to us about the contracts and what Sully has done to make us cap compliant and how potentially trading any one of these stars would affect the books. And then do you think that the Dolphins should trade either one of these players? It's a lot. I'm sorry.
That's like a loaded question. Do I think and what I think they should do and what I feel like can happen may not be the same thing, right? So let's just put that out there. I'm gonna preface everything I
Okay.
say by saying that. But so the first thing first, did a little research, did a little digging to see how I saw Barry Jackson posted it somewhere to figure out how the Miami Dolphins were able to get compliant. So just for the people that didn't know or are unaware, them trading Waddle cost them $11 million on the cap, therefore pushing us back over the cap. And they had to get back compliant by 4 p.m. yesterday. And nothing came out. We didn't hear any announcements. So we was all figuring out whether they did it or not. And yes, they did. So what essentially happened was they converted Brewers and Achane, the money that they was owed, that was hitting the cap, converted into a signing bonus. So I did, if y'all listen to us in spaces, shout out to my sister Nene. She didn't understand what when you restructure and how it helps with the cap. And I explained to her how that worked. When it comes, they convert money into signing bonus, which how that works is, let's say, which I think with HN they added 3 or maybe 4 more years, but I think it's 3 more years to it. But there was essentially void years. So you take that, I think they owed them 5 point something million, and you add those years on it, and you divide it evenly through the years. And that's what, therefore, now he's not a 5 point whatever million hit. It dropped down to 2 or 1 point whatever it dropped down to, which is cleared up space. And then they essentially did the same thing with Aaron Brewer. Now, why does that matter? Because by them doing that, if they would have traded Achane specifically, right, before converting that into that signing bonus, we would have saved $6 million trading him. If they traded him now, it cost us an extra $5 million. Right? So that's crazy. So I should yeah, you called our team trash. We're gonna hold that against you. So now if they did the same thing with Aaron Brewer, I didn't get through the I don't know the specific with Aaron Brewer, but I'm sure it's kind of the same scenario. So I don't know how much it will cost. So the reason I'm saying this is for all of that think that it's a guaranteed or who assume that they're going to be traded, this could even go one or 2 ways. This could either prove that they're going to extend both of them. They don't have no plans of moving off them, because why would you run the risk of costing more on the cap? Because guess what happened? If you trade them and you cost more, now you have to do so much more things to get cap compliant, right? So to me, this says 2 things. One or 2 things. One is I don't think they're going to trade him. They may extend him. 2, if a trade or anything was to go down, it's no longer going to be during the draft, which is the draft. You remember draft, pre-draft, and trade deadlines are the 2 times when these players are at their value is at its peak. Now you don't have that luxury of trading them during the draft, because you will not be able to be cap compliant until after the draft, after June 1st, right? Because remember, we get the $20 million after June 1st for the Bradley Chubb post June cut. So that says a lot to me that whatever's out there in free agency or whatever offers are being offered to them are nowhere near what they're willing to accept. Now, I'm not saying that a team can come in and blow the doors off them. That still can happen. But to me, it says all the teams that came asking for Achane Nowhere close. No one came correct. This says either come correct or don't come at all, because this is how much we value him. That moving off of him will cost us more on our salary cap. So I just wanted to put that out there. I want to get Lou's its standpoint from this before I go more into this. But yes, I just wanted to explain what happened and why I believe personally that this says more. Well, it could be more on the side that they're planning on keeping Achane for sure, and maybe even Brewer.
Yeah, yeah, Tone. Listen, first of all, that's great research by you doing your homework and finding out. I know Barry had kind of put a tweet out yesterday. I sent it to you. But again, that's great information. For me, Tone and Insanity, it's hard to argue, Tone, what you're saying.
Yeah.
To me, I don't even think, well, I think teams, it's been reported they've been calling for Achane. I don't even want to say, though, that maybe the offers weren't good. I think moves like this is basically saying, yeah, we're not trading, because that's what all reports. They've
Mm.
said they're not moving off of, well, they haven't really said nothing about Brewer, but A-Chain specifically, they've been since day one consistently. Tone, we bring it up all the time about when Sully sat down with Travis Wingfield.
Yes.
A-Chain was a name, again, when he talked about foundational pieces, things they wanted to grow with. Aaron Brewer was on that list. A-Chain was definitely on that list. A move like this, Tone, the way, again, you did your homework, you explained it. Nah, bro, I just think outside, and it's crazy to say, but it might be a first and something else to get them to move off of A-Chain. A move like this basically just says, listen, I think they're going to work extension out for both guys. I don't think they're looking to move off of them. I think Sully and Halfley have been here long enough, has accessed the roster. Again, we've made some moves, obviously getting rid of Waddle. Nah, a move like this basically says they're looking to re-up A-Chain and Brewer, and they're going to be here, and they're going to try to build around those pieces, especially A-Chain. I don't think they're going anywhere.
And I would like to add, I just looked it up because I didn't finish it. I didn't want to be too late. A trade for Aaron Brewer post June 1st, $7.89 million. It'll cost us.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's basically essentially what $8 million is going to cost. So it don't for sure they're not trading neither one of them before post June. Now on after June, I think it's we saved $3 million. Let me go back to it. Yeah, we saved $3 million after June if you want to trade them, and but that value is not going to be there because
You
after
say
June.
you save $3 million on both of them, Tone, post
No,
June
not
1st.
Waddle. I mean, a chance is not that. I don't think so. I have to look that up. I know a chance is going to cost us.
Right,
But I
right.
think his is two. We save 2 point something with Achane. That's if you trade them post June 1st. Now, why people this June 1st word? It's because around June is when people go into training camp, the teams. So for some trades to happen, right, it's either a disgruntled player that you can't get the contract right, or a major injury. Because teams already have their roster, they have 90 people on there, and they're seeing what they have, and and the guys that they have. They already filled those holes in their spots. So this is why it's rare to see those type of things happen June 1st. Like, just think about it naturally. If in your memory, recent memory, or previously, how often do you see a post-June trade? This is why it's always hot during the draft, and it's always hot during, the trade deadline. Because from June 1st on, everything is pretty on cruise control. People are figuring out their rosters. They're figuring out what they have in the people that's already there. And they're figuring out, how these people are going to fit into their scheme going forward. So that's why that, to me, is so important to understand it. I'm like, oh, okay, this might mean Aaron Brewer and Achane, which I might add, it might be a lot of tooting in here today. I might add, when we heard Sully speak, we did mention that Achane and Aaron Brewer was on that list, and Waddle wasn't, right? And that's there you have it. When I say, hey, listen, I don't care how y'all don't listen. Things like that, Waddle does not get left off on, by mistake. That is purposely done because even subconsciously, you don't forget a guy named Waddle. I would have been more convinced if he had to bring in a Patrick Paul because he's more newer, or Jordan Brooks, but a Waddle and Achane, those are the big names in Miami, right? Jordan Brooks and Patrick Paul, you have to be a Miami Dolphins fan to know these guys' names. They're not the big, but anyone around the league, fan bases, know who Waddle and Achane is. So you're not leaving those names off. So that's why that meant so much. I looked so much into it. I said, I got to read between the lines. So for anyone that was expecting, Achane and what we could get for him in the draft, yeah, that ship has sailed. 90%, I would say 90% have sailed. And I don't think anyone was thinking that Aaron Brewer was going to get traded. For Cindy, I don't know if you want to have a comment on this, but I do want to ask a question afterwards, if you do want to say something about it.
Okay, ask your question. I'm just happy that I'm allowed to speak on this team since I'm not a part of the fan base anymore. Allegedly,
you have to earn it. This is part of you earning your way back. It's a process. So, with this being said, let's take Achane to the side because this is the big topic. Let's focus on Aaron Brewer, and shout out to my brother. If y'all don't follow in spaces, my brother been bringing this question to a lot of people in the fan base. Given what's the guy named the center that just got paid that $27 million a year?
Lindenbaum.
Given what he had that contract is, are we willing to pay a center upward of $20 million per season? That's a question to you and Lou. Insanity, Lou.
All right.
Insanity first. We didn't hear from you yet.
Listen, I'm just trying to see where I fit in because I've been excommunicated by the Blitz.
Get in where you fit in.
And yeah. So oh, man, that is a very loaded question, especially depending on what the QB situation is going to be going forward. Listen.
Oh yeah, I'll just go.
Let me get where I want to get to. Okay, I do believe that finding a center that is as good as Aaron Brewer is not as simple and as easy as it is. The Miami Dolphins actually really took a chance because of his injury and stuff, and it's actually paid off. When they went and got him, he's going to be looking for that money. He's not taking a discount. Now, I will say this. You might have to. You may not want to, but you might have to. Because you're trying to build that continuity within the offensive line. You have some building pieces, and to change the caller, like the main guy on the line, the guy who's setting things up, adjusting protections and stuff like that, it's not as easy as people think. So you may not want to, but you may have to, especially if you have a young quarterback, if you decide to go in a different route or whatever. And even just having someone that can build chemistry, if it's going to be Malik going forward or whoever, I would say they may not want to, but they may have to. It'll be a tough situation for them not to, and to let a guy like that go and then potentially miss out on something when you kind of have a sure thing right now. It's really difficult. It's a really difficult position we're in right now.
Ahead, would you prefer to do it or no? You think he's worth it, $20 million? Just a personal opinion. It ain't no way wrong. I'm not gonna excommunicate you if you say no.
I would say for where the Miami Dolphins are right now and what we're going to be able to do with some of the books, bringing in a lot of young players. Go ahead and do it while you have that.
Hey, I should have had that Jackson. What his name from American Idol? It's gonna be a no for me, dog. It's a no for me. Yeah, $20 million. Yeah, it's a no for me, dog.
But Lou, listen. Listen, do I feel comfortable? No, but do I feel like we have the ability to do it? So yes, so go ahead because of the quarterback situation.
I wouldn't be mad. Why. Let me say this. I wouldn't be mad if they did it, but if it was my choice, it's a no for me, my brother. Lou, what's up? Same question to you.
Yeah, Tone, is crazy that you're saying no. I like how Finsanity answered. I'm gonna be probably more blunt. Yeah, I'm keeping Aaron Brewer.
Mm.
Absolutely. At $20 million, I would say yes. Listen, the fact of the matter is in 2026, there's a thing called inflation, right? Like we all live in a world,
Somebody
things
go get
cost,
Kelvin.
hey, call it what you want. People might need some loan officers, is all I'm saying, Tone. What I'm saying is, right, every year the cap goes up and up and up and up and up. You're dealing with a guy that when we lost Connor Williams at the center position, everybody was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And to Vincenti's point, you took a chance on a guy that was dealing with some injuries, this, that, and the third. And ever since he's been here, Vincenti and Tone, he's graded out as one of the best centers in the league. You could argue that Aaron Brewer is a top 5 center in the league right now.
Oh
He's
no,
top
that's
5.
without question. It's not an argument.
Okay. Well, everybody believes what? Like Creed Humphrey would be number 1?
Yes,
Okay.
I have Creed Humphrey at number 1. He's the only one that I put over Aaron Brewer. Not even Lindenbaum, who got paid.
Okay.
I don't put him over Aaron Brewer. Go ahead,
Well,
Vincenti has someone.
No, I just want to say, because I'll go back to me when Lou's done.
Well, I'm going to be done real quick. Tone, you just brought him up. Tyler Linderbaum just signed a free agent deal with the Raiders, leaving Baltimore for $28 million. Again, Aaron Brewer this season, best season so far. Second team all-pro player. We're not talking about Pro Bowls. We're talking about all-pros.
That's the best in the league.
Dog, they're handed out by the executives in the league and amongst their peers, right? The guys he plays against on Sunday. He was a second team all-pro player. If you're asking me, should the Dolphins, if he's asking for $20 million, yeah. Maybe people don't like it because again, to pay a center $20 million, but in the times we're living in, there's a lot of money to go around. I'm sorry, bro. We're what do we always say, Tone and Insanity, right? And I'll end it with this. We're tired of the Dolphins paying players that haven't really given us no production, right? That we're just paying guys because of, it is what it is. Nah, when you identify guys like Aaron Brewers, the Achanes, obviously, of the world, that consistently show up on Sundays, those are the guys you pay, even if it might be a little bit more than what's usually expected. So, yes, Tone, to answer your question, $20 million for Aaron Brewer, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah,
So,
and I also
1 second, Vincenti. I'm sorry. Please, I just want 1 second.
Got him. We fucking got him.
Listen, my Blitz pickup.
You see, I don't like all these
listen,
I
we
don't like
finally got him to come over to the trenches, baby. Shout out to Lou. My boy made it. Mama, we made it. Go ahead, Vincenti.
Yeah. But also, one thing that, we talked about where Waddle necessarily did not do, Brewer spoke up when Tua was benched, and he had a lot to say, and he said it bluntly. I think his leadership, his voice in that locker room, right? And we're going to talk about leadership in a few minutes. I think that's immeasurable right now because you say you want dogs and you finally had someone, the center, when he was thrown underneath the bus, he was like, all right, cool. But when that dude got benched, he did not hold a punch. He did not spare anyone's feelings, and he told it like it was.
Yeah.
And that's something that,
Great point.
we came at Waddle for not doing, but here is a player in that locker room who in a very interesting situation said, nah, this is what it is and this is the right move, and we now have a chance to, what's the name outside of that, I can't say verbatim what he said because I can't remember it. I blocked out a lot of 2025, but he did step up to the plate and gave an honest, truthful, harsh assessment of the situation and did not care. And you need guys like that who are willing to step up, call out guys and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure he was probably one of the people going at Tua in the locker room and stuff like that. He's probably one of the people saying, man, F your film study because you ain't doing on the field that I need to look at anyway. Anything else you got to say, Tony or Lou, before we?
Yeah, I wanted to say that was a great point because we're up here. We was killing Waddle for not doing exactly what Aaron Brewer has. He did it. He didn't bite his tongue. They asked him, "Oh, do you think Miami Daniel made the right move?" Yes. It wasn't, well, that's the coach's decision. My job, he's here just to play, and whoever's behind center, my job is to get them the football. No, no, no. He said yes, clear and concise. And I like that about him, because if the offensive line and the wide receivers above all are the ones that you would be like, oh, well, because the quarterback has to give them the football. And then I think the center, the one that deals with him every single play, they typically are the most close, because they both go over coverages. They got to understand what they're seeing. They both have to be on the same page at all times. He will be the one that has, let's say, the closest relationship with him and understand him and want to be more PC with his answers. The fact that he wasn't says a lot about his character and says a lot about things that I was looking for the players out of the locker room. So those are all both great points why he may deserve that money, because it's all of the things outside, the intangibles, so to speak. But yes, I just wanted to say that was a great point.
And I real quick before we move on, I also want to say that was a great point. Remember, Aaron Brewer was Malik Willis's center in Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is, you just signed Malik Willis. We guaranteed at least 2 years of Malik. I would say, why not give him some familiarity? Damn, I couldn't even get that word out. Give him someone familiar. Right. Hey, well, but give him someone you can work with, right? And it seemed, even in that video when he was walking around, Tony from Insanity, right? He was the first, oh, what's up, Brew? He called him Brew. Like, they got some kind of rapport together. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well.
All right. Listen, great conversation, great points. From the looks of it, right now, the Miami Dolphins are going to be keeping both guys at least until, post-June. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a roller coaster. Let's tell you cook. Now, former Dolphins legend. Oh, you want me to go over the poll?
Let me see. I'm trying to look it up. Sorry. Ooh, that thing close. I say less. I like that. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Facility. Go ahead.
This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you're no longer a part of the Dolphins community. Allegedly. I'm still here. I still love y'all. I'm still family. We all still family. Okay. So, former Dolphins wide receiver, Juice, let's not call him Jarvis Landry. He's Juice. We know who he is. Had a lot to say. And one of the major things that he talked about is the leadership and how the players create the culture and how it's on the players to establish, how hard and hold each other accountable and all that. Tony, what were your thoughts on Juice's comments about the Miami Dolphins' lack of leaders in the locker room?
Well,
Tone, before you go, I'm so sorry to cut you off. Before you go, right? And I want you to go as soon as this happens right here.
I think
Yeah. We were on the same page. Yes, we were. Go ahead, Tone. Take off.
Oh, my goodness. So, why? So, first of all, let's get what he said. Basically, while he mostly was blaming Mike McDaniel for being too nice and then trying to reel the team in the locker room and said, well, it was too late at that point. The locker room was basically already lost, right? Now, Jarvis Landry said, what that tells me is y'all didn't have enough leaders in the locker room. Now I'm so sorry. I know my brother already did it, but I know some individuals that come on this platform every time we load up that camera, right? And tell y'all that it's the players that set the culture. That the players have to be the ones leading and holding people accountable. I'm always, just listen to the players. I've always told y'all, go listen to the former players that tell you who did they respect the most? Who did they fear who did they didn't want to let down the most? When they messed up, the stuff that the coach was doing, it's like, okay, coach, I got you. Excuse me. But everyone that are someone say we were more worried about what the players said, our captain said, our leader said. Those are the ones that we have to look into their eyes and say, oh man, I let you down. Those are the ones that go into war and battle with us game in and game out. Those are the ones that give their all on the field with me, right along with me. They're in this fight. We're fighting this war together, but we are the ones that's getting our hands dirty and actually physically doing a fight. Coach, you only telling me what to do. I have to go over there outside and on that field and it's execute. I have to make it come to life. I have to do everything. And everyone on this field, we're going through the same struggle. So that's why those words matter more than the head coach. It's easy for a coach to lose a locker room. It's very difficult for a player to lose a locker room. When you see culture change, it's because you see those core leaders leave the building. You see Baltimore, they know what type of people they have in that building because that's why that culture is set. That's why I came out here every time from the beginning. I said, you know what? I got a question for y'all. What type of player would anyone consider to be a Miami Dolphin type player? Oh, you know he's a Dolphin. We don't have one because we don't have an identity because we didn't have the players to set the culture. We know what type of player is a Baltimore Raven type player because he fit their identity. Notice it's the player. No one says, oh, that's a whoever the head coach is guy. No, that is a Pittsburgh Steeler. That is a Baltimore Raven. That's what you hear. That's how you set and establish a culture. So for Jarvis Landry to come out here and say what we've been trying to tell you guys for the longest, it's the players. He was like, if you need your head coach or any coach to be the one to lay the hammer down and be the judge in that locker room, then y'all do not have enough leaders. That's the guy that played for the Miami Dolphins organization in the NFL. He went to the Pro Bowl. He's a Pro Bowl receiver for us. And one thing you would never say, I heard, I'm not even going to tell, Lou Homeboy had the audacity to say that when Jarvis Landry was on this team was considered soft. Have you lost your rabbit mind? You would, thank you. Never. You've never, especially with the Jarvis Landrys, and then after him with the Jay Ajayi, the type of players that we had in this locker room had people like Jonathan Martin had to get up out of here because those players was running the locker. I'm sorry. These are the type of things and the type of players that we need because that's how you keep your set and maintain your culture. You get those type of mindset. So no. We know Jarvis Landry was a dog. No one will question his toughness. No one will question his effort. No one will question if he gave 1,000% every single down, every second. Never took plays off, never took downs off, 100% all the time. And for him to come out and say this tells y'all and just lets me know that this fan base needs to understand the mentality and the mindset that is required to run a successful organization, football organization. Because these players and their ability to lead is a very key component to creating those dynasties or those franchises that can have sustainable success going forward. It's the type of players, mindset that you're looking for. And you look for these characters and these traits and everyone that you see you want to bring in. It becomes second nature to where it becomes part of your culture. Now, you can't fit in over here. It's a little different over here. You know what I got tired of hearing in the offseason? Players that leave or either left the building or came in the building. The players that left the building always would say how it was difficult or how they noticed the difference in how the teams practice and it wasn't so laid back and soft. And the players that comes in the building talk about how outside of the building, how people looks at this organization as being soft. And then say what you want. But when what's the safety we got from Buffalo?
Jordan Poyer.
Wife came out and said how soft the practice and how easy it was, that this wasn't gonna work. Y'all know that was coming from Jordan Poyer. We said this. That's a player in the locker room understanding, man, they soft and they're allowing this to happen. That's a player that didn't even like that. When you have a player coming out to say that he understands what it takes to win in this league. Practice make perfect. Everyone knows it start with practice. Everyone knows it start with the leaders in the locker room. And I'm so glad he said that, because hopefully y'all listen to somebody, because we know Jarvis Landry was beloved over here by the Miami Dolphins fan base. He was a fan favorite. And I know a lot of y'all tend to listen to the fan favorites. So I'm glad he said that. I'm going to pass it to Lou real quick because I know he has a lot to say. But 2-2, goddammit. 2-2. We've been trying to tell y'all.
That is an absolute fact. It is 2-2. Bro, it's just mind-blowing. I ain't going to lie to y'all. I don't even care how old he is. He hasn't played football in 3 years. I'm bringing Jarvis Landry back. I know. Hey, you laughing. I'm talking about dead ass. I am serious. That's what this team is missing. I couldn't believe it. Tone, you said my homeboy. I put a name on it. Batman. Batman said that dumb shit when it was Jarvis Landry. All this team was soft. Let me tell you something. The soft narrative and Insanity, I'm so sorry, right? But you said you're back. I never exiled you, by the way. You've always been a Dolphin in my heart. What I will say, though, is
she's an Alabama fan. When
you heard in 2020, with the 5th pick, the Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa, that's when the soft narrative happened. 6 years ago, never in the history of the Dolphins have you heard. Now, we might have not won, but tell me when the last time before 2020 you heard this team was soft.
I wouldn't say 20 because Brian Flores was not running no soft program.
The problem is,
I was just about to say, that's why he said 2020, the draft.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm more in the line of Insanity. Because when Brian Flores was the coach, you ain't hear that. Now, the team, the players was, but no one around the league wouldn't say that because how he was trying to create the culture. It's just that the player wasn't following him. But, that's all I was saying.
But that's what it is. See, and Tua was leading the charge. See, in the Jarvis Landry era, you didn't have players in that locker room telling people you can't talk to me like that. You didn't have players showing up and having to go to therapy because they were told something. Stop, bro. Stop.
There was no slide.
There was no, well, again, the slide was coming because they know what they drafted in 2020. The fact of the matter is that soft narrative started with one person and then it just created a bunch of soft people. It is what it is. Tone, we talk about we don't have enough leaders. No. And this is why I'm glad that Jarvis Landry said what he said. So, Tone, I remember me and you kind of had some debates earlier or a couple, maybe months back. Mm-hmm. And you were like, yeah, you could have one person, but you need more. And I get what you're saying. But I'm here to tell you right now, Jarvis Landry looked like the type, it only takes one. He looked like when he get in that locker room, someone's being soft. Oh, we're going to address it right now. We're going to address that. It only takes one. Just like I said, when Tua walked in here, Tua was the one that created it. Oh, that one in Jarvis Landry, he would have created. Again, there was no soft narrative with Jarvis Landry. In the locker room, on the field, in the practice room, wherever. Bro, do y'all remember what Jarvis Landry was?
I don't think they know. I should have came in with some highlights.
Tone, they said he was too small. They said he wasn't fast enough. They said all this stuff they said about him. You know what he was? A dog.
Straight up dog.
When he got on that field on Sunday, you think that first man was taking him down? No. You think that second man that was coming up will take? Nah, we running through all that. We don't care. It's a mindset, bro. And for the people to tell me all the time, oh, it's coaching it. When you hear me say coaching don't matter, I'm not saying literally it don't matter. But in my opinion, players make coaches. Coaches really don't make players. Because I've seen a lot of great coaches that couldn't overcome the players on the field when they weren't executing. I've never seen that. But I've seen players, when coaches maybe call a play or whatever, that maybe not the best scenario or situation, I've seen those players on the field overcome all that. Players are the ones that run this league. On the field and in the locker room, they're the ones that create the culture. They're the ones that create the mindset. Me and Tone have been telling y'all. We've been telling y'all. There is no shock here. We're not breaking the internet with groundbreaking information. It's a players' league. They police themselves. Coaches are there to coach, not babysit. I love what Jarvis Landry said. What do you mean you need a guy to be a hammer? What do you mean you need a guy to hold your hand? What do you mean? Bro, what's understood don't have to be said. This is a gladiator sport. This is a man sport. When you sign up for this, you know what it is. Tone, I think you had a great point when you brought up the Jonathan Martin. You see when that mindset didn't work in the locker room around all the other ones, why did you hear that Jonathan Martin was getting bullied? Because he was the outcast. He didn't fit in. And those players in the locker room were not going to allow that mindset to take over the team. We'd rather bully you to get you up out of here than bring that soft bullshit in here. I love everything that Jarvis Landry said. And like I said, I'll bring him back, Tone, Finsanity. After 3 years of not playing football, I just want him in the – bro, they could sign him to the league minimum.
33.
That man could go the whole season, Tone and Finsanity, without catching a pass, without getting any yardage. And I would still love him being in this locker room for everything that he stands for.
Mindset.
He's definitely the veteran presence that you look for. Well, we can expand it even more for the people who want to harp on coaching. Well, what did our coaching GM say about the type of players they wanted to be here in order to change this culture? The first thing they talked about was the type of player. And I find it very, very ironic that one of the people who we did not necessarily see as a leader in the locker room, but was a key player, is one of the first ones to go. That could be low key. I understand the compensation and all that, and what you're able to get for for Waddle, but it also sends a very clear message that even if you a star, you're not safe. I think that to Tony and Lou and Tony's point, because Tony been coming at me all day. You definitely need people that are going to hold these grown men accountable. It's very hard to do because men are going to want to do what men are going to want to do, right? But if you have leaders, people, because some people are followers, but if you have people who are going to establish a culture, hold each other accountable, say, nah, you got to deal with me. I don't care what coach going to do. You can't go run behind coach. You can't go run, and go over the coach's head. You can't run to Stephen Ross. You can't run to this person in the office. You got to deal with us every single day in this locker room until you're ready or get out. So I like that, the love that Juice has for this team is definitely being shown with the words that he's saying, and that he's not holding any punches either. He's letting everyone know that the problem is with the players, and to call out the players, because he's still calling out the ones that are here, that have been here through this soft narrative, because there are some pieces here. He's calling them out too. And he's saying, what are y'all going to do about this? Are you going to step up? Are you going to become those leaders? Or do we need to get y'all up out of here too and get someone else that can do the job that you're supposed to be doing? Your paycheck does not end when you sign the dotted line. No, it is a job you have to show up and do every single day. And if you're not up for that task, even saying I don't want to die, or if you're going to be honest about it and say, okay, cool, but you can still be a leader. You can still be one of those guys. You can still hold these guys accountable. Um, so that's all I got to say on that point. Shout out to Juice. Go ahead, Tony.
And I would like to add the fact that what Jarvis Landry showed to me, it just proved the mindset that I've been trying to show, and we were trying to show our fan base. Players, and Lou say this a lot, players make coaches, right? Coaches could teach you. You could, obviously coaches matter. Obviously, people in the front office, they matter. It's always been this big debate, especially if y'all on spaces, right? This big debate about players. Oh, y'all say coaches don't matter. The front office, people bring the front office and the coaches. And Lewis always say, well, I'm not going to blame the people in the suits for the players on the field failing to execute. I said this yesterday, I believe, to try to bring it home to the people that don't understand what we're trying to say when we say the players matter. That team that was put together, 2022, 2023, those 2 years. I want to remind y'all that 2022 season, when the Eagles played Kansas City for the Super Bowl, when they did the joint practice with us, they thought the Dolphins were going to be the team that they faced in the Super Bowl. That was after a joint practice because of the talent that was on that team. And when that team took the field, they went to lighten people up. And you know when it started to tell them off? When teams started to get physical with them, when teams started to challenge their manhood. Then all of a sudden, everything wasn't working smooth. Coaches can't do nothing about that. They could tell them something. But I'm as a coach, I can't tell you the first time somebody get physical and bully you, you're supposed to return a favor and then to the 10th power. That has to be in you. When we turn on the film and we see people wide open, but they're missing them. Or what his name? Built like Tarzan, play like Jane, had a clear tackle, and he just let somebody run through him. This team that went to Indianapolis and how many missed tackles? And in Green Bay. So I told these people, I said, let me explain something to y'all. For all y'all, this front office, these coaches, they failed because they're not good at their job. They bringing in injured players. They bringing in players that can't get the job done, and they've been drafting terrible players. They're not perfect. No franchise is perfect. No front office is perfect. But you know what happened? When they assembled that team, I told y'all, and Lewis also told y'all, you could not name one team that was more talented than that Miami Dolphins 2022 and 2023 season. Not one single team had more talent than those two teams, those two rosters. And you know who failed who? Those players failed the front office. Because that front office paid Tyreek Hill, hey, man, I believe in you. Go out there and get the job done. Most of this fan base like that. They approve that because they like Tyreek Hill. Paid Jalen Waddle. Most of the fan base, they like that because they're Jalen Waddle fans. They paid Jalen Ramsey after an injury-plagued season. He was injured. He came in and got injured in the training camp. That offseason, he played hooky and wanted more money. They paid him. They rewarded him. Now, let me ask y'all a question. Why did Jarvis Landry want to come over here? Jarvis Landry was highly touted. He basically had the pick of the litter. But he saw the talent that was on this team. He saw it. What happened? Came in here, didn't execute. They brought you to Ron Armstead. They brought you Connor Wills, switched Connor Wills out with Aaron Brewer. So they brought you Jonnu Smith. They brought in the Calais Campbell, Jordan Brooks. They
Deshaun Elliott.
Deshaun Elliott. They brought in what's the cornerback? Jones. Not Jones. What the fuck? They brought in everyone for this team. Assembled a grade A team. And those players failed the front office. If those players execute, Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, they both have their job still. They both have their job. So when we say players are the one that set the culture, and when we say no, coaches don't matter, because you're not going to tell me that all of a sudden Mike McDaniel forgot how to call plays. And all of a sudden, Chris Greer forgot how. Now, he wasn't the greatest person in the draft. But you're not going to tell me that the way he maneuvered when it comes to trades and free agent, that he wasn't at least good at that. And I said the only thing that I felt that he failed at was building a team that can work well together. Because those players that you put your trust in, you put your belief in, that you put your money where your mouth is with, they failed you essentially. Right? And we could be honest. When Buffalo game, the division title on the line, the front office wasn't the ones that had a 3-game lead with 5 games left and lost it. That was those players. Failing to execute. But they were all paid. They were all paid. That means that front office believed in them. And you don't go out there and put your best foot forward. Vic Fangio didn't come in here and say this front office failed us. He said these players, this ain't gonna work like this. These players don't. They more worried about going out and having fun than perfecting their craft. He got up out of here. All those players failed this front office and their head coaches. Because you're not going to tell me they didn't believe in them. They did. They paid them. Put their money where their mouth is. And when we blame, again, you want to talk about holding people accountable? A lot of people blame Tua, right? Because the failures in the big games and the lack of clutch. See, but I'm a type of person, I remember things, especially when it's a big moment. That game that we killed them for in Buffalo, and that interception that Tua threw to end it, kill him for that. But I want to remind every single one of y'all, not one, but 2 drives prior to that. Tua hit Tyreek dead in his hands on the 3rd down, and he dropped the ball twice. One of them would look like a walk-in touchdown. Who held Tyreek accountable? Who went to Tyreek and say, bro, we can't have that? Did Tua go to him and tell him that? Come on, man, I need you to catch that. You're getting paid $30 million. You know what stories I heard about Bill Belichick? Bill Belichick walked in and looked at Tom Brady and say, oh, we got the whole world say you're the greatest quarterback in the world. And that's the type of, for one missed throw, that's the type of throw you're gonna do. Accountability. You mean to tell me, with all the ridicule I'm getting about my lack of clutch performances in the biggest game of this season, division title on the line, I hit you square in your hands, the highest paid receiver in the league, I might add. You drop that football right in your hands? You're part of the reason why these people think I'm not clutch. He ain't go to Tyreek and say nothing about that. And then you follow that up with the very next drive, the same thing. Football right in your hands, Tyreek. Dropped. At the end of the game, what people remember? People remember that interception to it through. And I'm not saying don't blame him for that. But I'm also saying we're not going to forget what Tyreek did. We're not going to forget the touchdown he dropped in Baltimore. We're not going to forget the touchdown that he dropped in Philadelphia. We're not going to forget the touchdown that he dropped in Dallas. Notice the name that the team that I'm calling out? Aren't those all the big name teams that we say Tua fell and he never showed up in? How many of y'all say Tyreek ain't show up in them games? But no one knows that because no one held Tyreek accountable. But y'all, I bet you everyone remember how A.J. Brown failed Jalen Hurts. Because when he was out there complaining, everybody was holding each other accountable. And when Jalen Hurts dropped the football, they were like, all all that stuff you were talking, and you go out there and have that type of game? Because it's a team effort. But no one is holding no one accountable. So are we looking at who's the most polarizing figure? The quarterback. So that's the first thing you look at to blame. Not saying that he don't deserve blame, but my brother, where are you when I need you? I pointed this out. I'm like, oh, y'all forgot. Y'all remember when Joe Burrow? Y'all know Joe Burrow, second favorite quarterback in the league. Matt Stafford, Joe Burrow, my two favorite quarterbacks. Y'all remember that year that he beat Patrick Mahomes? Guess who who dropped the football that led to the game-center interception? Tyreek Hill. Guess who they let walk out the door? Tyreek Hill. Accountability. That's all I'm saying. So if players don't hold each other accountable, things like that happen. That wasn't Tyreek's first time. All those games that I gave you, those were leading up to that because he was never held accountable. Everyone was too busy walking on eggshells that no one was held accountable. That was never on his mind. Man, I messed up. I cannot let this happen again. No, never on his mind because no one holds each other accountable. But then you turn around and let the season happen, and boom, lo and behold, the same thing that happened, it happens. No one went to Waddle, Tyreek, who was there? What's the white boy I like? That was he always get injured. But no one went to the receivers and said
River
Craycraft. No one went to them. Trent Suffield, not too much because he was the dog. But no one went to them and said, hey, man, not today. And no more going forward. No one is going to call us up and say all they got to do is put their hands on us. I better see you, even if you don't win off the line, you better get physical and make it tough. And you better set a message. Me and Lou point out, L'Jarius Sneed told both of them, neither one of y'all like that. And no, the closest you got was Waddle laughing at him and saying, no, you know I'm like that. That is a challenge. But how you don't even hold each other accountable in the locker room. You think it's going to translate to the field? This is the thing that I'm trying to tell you. You can't be soft in the locker room, then all of a sudden when them bullies pull up, now you tough? Stop. Them tough teams are more tougher on themselves. That's why when they get on the field, hey, man, this right up our alley. This fun for us. I'm tired of fighting. Let me ask you a question. I heard this a lot of times from Dolphin teams. Now, all the other teams too. But I heard this a lot of time for Dolphin teams, but I never heard it from this regime. How many times did we ever hear when preseason and the games are starting that our players, when they asked about how they feel about the preseason game started, how many times did you hear them say, man, we're so tired of beating up our own selves. It feels so good that we can finally do it to the other team. They will never say that because they don't go. It's not a grinding practice. It's not. It isn't. Y'all remember Vicinity went on a rant about why they didn't. That's what. How long you say that center better stay on the field until you get it right? She was more worried about the culture and the mindset than they were. No accountability. This stuff has been going on and on and on. And we've been trying to point it out. And when it translates to the field, now we're wondering what happened. Why? Oh, they don't have to be this way. Yes, you do. You play a gladiator sport. So you have to have a gladiator mindset. I wish you would go out there and put a golf player in the gladiator sport inside the Coliseum and say, go ahead. That man is going to get, or whoever is going to get destroyed. Because you're not built for this. You don't even have the mindset for this. You don't even have the physical or the mental capacity to understand what I have to do to you to get up out of here. Because it gets, Julius Randle. Someone brought up Julius Randle to me at practice. I mean, at my job today when we were talking sports a little bit. And because we were talking about dogs at D tackles and ends and people that we respect, the old school type way. And he was like, y'all remember Julius Randle? Well, they asked who it was. And I was like, Julius Randle, the D tackle from Minnesota. And he was like, y'all remember some of the stories? how he would take a shit and not wipe his ass because people don't want to deal with that all game? This is the type of people you deal with on that field. These are the type of people that you have to deal with. And you gonna tell me you can have a non-verb John Randall. Sorry, thank you, Eric. John Randall. You gonna tell me you gonna have a non-confrontational mindset and in a league with those type of people out there? Please. You are not last. You were not. And that's why people like Jarvis Landry with that mindset are needed in our locker room. So you can understand it's bigger than talent. Because I just said earlier, no one, I would challenge anyone to go give me a more talented roster than the Miami Dolphins in 2022 and 2023. All the not running the ball, and it's crazy. The best year of Raheem Mostert's career was the 1 year that he went to Mike McDaniel and questioned him and said, "Man, I need run the ball. I'm tired of you not running the ball on 30 short. I'm tired of you not giving the ball on goal line." And the man answered with 18 touchdowns, a league record. I mean, the Dolphins record, sorry, and led the league. It's funny how you go and you say something to open your mouth, how the results change. These are the type of things that need to happen. Prior to that, he didn't have a season like that his whole career. But he deemed it necessary, like, man, what are we doing? That's a player. It's not the coaches. Wasn't the running back coach. Wasn't the head coach. Wasn't the offensive coordinator. It was the player. Hey, Mike, man, what you doing? Go in there. I challenge y'all to go listen to that podcast. I listened to 18 minutes of it. And they were talking about how much they respect former players and how they can coach, and how sometimes you look at someone that hasn't been in the trenches and be like, man, what are you talking about? You can't teach me how to do this, right? Jarvis Landry made a story. He said a story. He said his former wide receiver coach, I forgot what, he was a former wide receiver in the league. It was a specific type of route that they had to run. And he told Jarvis Landry, hey, on third and this, you might have to run this route further over here because this is what they're doing, and there's more room over here, so don't run that route that way. Go talk to Baker. Told him to go talk to Baker Mayfield. Now, I remember a couple of individuals last episode saying, we needed Waddle to go tell Tua. Go talk to Tua and say, hey, I need you to do this. I'm going to do this so you can throw me the ball. He said the story on the podcast. He said, and those are the type of people that I love. He said, because at that time we had the coach off the coordinator. No, run it like this. You make sure you run the play right, to the correct way. Now understanding, man, this is changing from here and there. This is what I'm noticing. You go to your quarterback. Why are you talking to your offensive coordinator? Go to the quarterback, the person who could do something about it. The same way I told y'all the story about in the 15-second game. Guess what? Travis Kelce went to Patrick Mahomes, not Andy Reid. When Andy Reid called that play, he waited till he got in the locker room, scratched that Patrick Mahomes. I get what he said, but if they do this, like they've been doing all game, I'm going to do this, and you throw me the ball. It's just like backyard football. That's not coaches, that's players. So, sorry I went on the rant, but it's the players that failed this front office. It's the players that failed these coaches. Because y'all need to do y'all part, because y'all have the most pivotal part. Players make head coaches and GM look good. Lou bring up the misses that Howie Roseman missed in Philly all the time. How he missed out on Justin Jefferson. But what it was, Jalen Reagor, it was, Lou?
He drafted Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson.
But guess what? Them players that he brought in, Half of y'all don't even know that. Because them players that he put in that system make Howie Roseman look good. And that's the difference. If that team they would have been lighting that man up forever, that was a huge miss. You don't talk about it because those players are executing. I mean, when me and Lugo, I was like, he got a Super Bowl out of it. With or without Justin Jefferson. He still got a Super Bowl out of it. Because those players that he put on the field executed and came through when he needed them. And that's all I'm trying to say. When we look at what happened, what needs to change is the players and the mindset of the players that we have in the locker room. Shout out to Jarvis Landry. Somebody clip that and send that to Jarvis Landry. Shout out to him. But I'm done, bro. I just had to go on that little rant because it baffles me how we don't understand how important it is for the players to have that winning mindset over a head coach. You know, I listen earlier, 20 minutes ago, when we were trying to figure out, when Lewis said that it was when we drafted Tua in 2023, what the facilities, I don't think it happened because Brian Flores was still tough. That team, that same team we watched in Cincinnati, Brian Flores was on the field ready to go to battle for the King Grant. What was the rest of the team? They weren't there. And look what happened to the team. You rather get rid of a coach because you have players in there that didn't want to deal with that toughness. This is what you get.
Well, Tone, that was very well said. So don't worry about the rant and stuff like that. I'll be a little bit shorter. But to your point about Jarvis Landry, and hopefully he does see this or this video gets to him or whatever. Because, again, I'm going to echo your sentiment. Shout out to him. Listen to the guy because the reason Jarvis Landry even asked or answered that question, he was talking about a specific guy in Raheem Mostert.
Yep.
Now listen to Jarvis Landry and listen to Raheem Mostert. The problem is Jarvis Landry wasn't in the locker room. Raheem Mostert was. If I asked you right now, who had a better NFL career, it would be Jarvis Landry.
Facts.
What I don't like and don't respect about what Raheem Mostert did, you didn't have a problem. When you got let go by the team, that's when you made this video about the soft mindset and the tone. That's why when you were talking, I'm listening, I'm like, that man, obviously what he said, right? Raheem Mostert said, well, we needed our coach when you're lax. Well, you were in there with that said coach. Why didn't you say nothing to him then? Why didn't you bring that up? And people want to say, well, Raheem Mostert, you know, they can blame Mike McDaniel if they want to. Why wasn't Raheem Mostert a big-time running back in San Francisco when he had Kyle Shanahan? Ain't Kyle Shanahan a good coach?
Yep.
Why was Raheem Mostert still mid in San Francisco? Because of that mindset he had. He was weak there. He was weak here. See, a guy like Raheem Mostert, he depends on people to uplift him. And I don't need to babysit you. Jarvis Landry didn't need no babysitter. It's just, you could tell, bro. You can listen to people, you can hear people, and I just wanted to bring up why Jarvis Landry even had this comment. Because he was addressing Raheem Mostert. Basically what Jarvis Landry said, Raheem Mostert, you're soft, dog.
Yeah.
You the problem. It wasn't the coach. You was the problem. So it is what it is, man. When you listen to people, just listen. Don't judge. Listen, and you can tell the difference why one player is who he is, and what he's about. Listen to the other player, and you can see what he is and what he's about. You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference. I'd much rather have the Jarvis Landry type player that wears his emotion on his sleeve. And sometimes it might be a little overblown, but it's what's needed. It's what's needed is the point. You need more people like Jarvis Landry than the Raheem Mosterts of the world. But it is what it is, man. Listen, shout out to you, Tone, with the rant. And shout out to Jarvis Landry. I think he was spot on, bro. Spot on.
Yeah, that was wonderfully put. I really enjoyed every second of it. Um, I think, Tony, once again, you know, there's a reason why the belt is technically in Miami still. It may be changing locations, a little bit later, but
Hey, Vincent, let's not get carried away. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right. Let's not get carried away. That belt should have been traveled already. We all know that. Like, what we doing here?
right. Listen, it's going to be, oh man, it's going to be a wonderful off season. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up on Monday, the Blitz Pickup will be releasing their first ever big board. And we will be doing a lot of work this weekend, missing out on some March Madness. We're not, but a lot of homework, a lot of backstage talks and discussions to bring you guys the best big board out there. I'm really excited. Tony, Lou, do you guys have anything left to say before we get up out of here?
I would like to address Eric. You said give me the dog that barks, not the dog that hides. No, give me the dog that bites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's the only thing I'll switch on that, my brother.
Yeah, because some people bark on the internet and never show up.
Facts.
Lou, anything else you gotta say?
I was waiting. I just wanted to make sure. You know what? I do got a couple things to say. Actually, I got a couple shout outs. I want to shout out the internet thugs. I want to shout out the loan officers, Am Scott, Jackson Hewitt.
I quit.
Is there anyone else that loans out money? Y'all no. Shout out to everybody, man. Hey, listen. Shout out to the studio apartments. Shout out to shout out to Mama's Basements. Shout out to 26 Views. You know what? Nah, my bad. Let's just end the show. Bodies.
Luka dropped 60.
Oh, shout out to the lottery numbers. Hey, man, listen, there's a lot of people to shout out. Shout out to the outside. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. Hey, matter of fact, Tone, real quick, shout out to the Washington Commanders. I heard their tailgate was great. I heard it was real. I heard it was live out there. Shout out to airplanes. Shout out to no, my bad. Hey, let's just get out of here, man. Hey, are we done here? Are we done here?
Hey, do your thing, my brother.
This is why we're shades.
Hey, for my sister Finsanity, from my brother Tone, you know who I am. This is the Blitz Pickup. Shout out to the big board on Monday. Hey, man, if you know somebody in need, always lean a helping hand. You know what I'm saying? There's, again, a helping hand, help a friend. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, we'll see y'all Monday from the Blitz Pickup. We love y'all. We out.
Lou most definitely got the revolver.